Hey everybody, Mike Sullivan with Born to Shine. Today we have an awesome guest. His name is Michael Weakley. He is the principal over at a K-5 school in Phoenix, Arizona, also called Anthem, Arizona. Let's jump in, man. Our listeners would love to hear, and I'd love to hear it too, what your journey was like to become the principal at your school.
Yeah, so it was a really great journey. I started, in high school trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, for me, it was okay, I wanted to coach sports. And I wanted to work with kids. Okay. So what was the best way for me to do that? And I had conversations with my PE teachers in high school. And, that to me seemed like an amazing job. I get to work with kids, be physically active during the day, and could coach after school. So when I went to school, I went to SUNY Brockport, which is in Western New York, just west of Rochester. And, I got a degree in physical education. I played baseball there for 4 years. And when I had gotten done, I had a really great opportunity to move out to Arizona to teach PE and coach. So for 4 years, I was able to coach and teach phys ed, and I really had fun doing that. An opportunity opened up for me to move into administration after that. And while I was teaching for 4 years, I was enrolled at ASU getting my master's in educational leadership. So when that door opened, I kind of took it, and it was to be the athletic director and dean of students.
Hmm.
So I had a really for the 4 years prior, really great job. Had done a really great job, working with kids, working with athletics, and then working with that discipline piece. So it was kind of a natural fit for me to go in there. So I had done that for 3 years, and it was amazing. Being able to see kids. Um, in their element outside of school. We work with them, from 7 to 3, 8 to 3, whatever it is, but seeing them from, 3 to 8 or 3 to 6 p.m., a little bit different. And to share that experience with them was super special to me. And then the next step was after I had done that was okay, I want to work with more adults and kids still.
Hmm.
So I had a great opportunity to move into a principal role here in North Phoenix, Anthem, Arizona at Cars Academy. And I've been here working in the elementary school. This is my second year, and super excited to be here for next year and the future to see what we can accomplish. So that was kind of my path to get there. I didn't think that it would be this soon. I didn't think I would be, a principal, just 7 or 8 years after, graduating. Um, but it's been really special and very very fortunate with the people I've been able to meet and the kids that I've been able to work with over the last 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, that's awesome, and your passion for it, Michael, shows it shines through, man. It's obvious, so I can kind of see why you were on the accelerated path. Well, boof, it happened real quick for you. So that's cool. That's really cool, and it's nice that you can combine your passion for education and for sports. Were you coaching baseball? That's what you're in
Yeah.
school.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was coaching baseball and basketball as well. So
Oh,
those
cool.
were two great passions of mine that I loved. So I miss it a little bit, definitely, but now that I'm as the principal, I can still get out and go and watch games, and but I definitely miss being on the sideline for sure.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. That's awesome. And I guess the kind of um, goes right to the second question, which is when you were K-5, when you were a student yourself in elementary school, did you have any challenges internally like a lot of kids do? Myself, I struggled with ADD, I had OCD, I had anxiety. Man, I had A through Z. I just struggled and didn't know what those feelings were, and there wasn't much support. There weren't even any conversations. It was very taboo, and my whole divine purpose is to support kids, destigmatize mental health, and just kind of open up the convo, so we can all support each other. And just out of curiosity, was there anything that you may have struggled with a little bit when you were K-5?
Absolutely. And then, like I said, when I saw this question, when you asked me right here, I immediately went to something specific for me, and that was reading.
Mm.
Reading was something for me that I struggled with, and specifically grade 4, 5, 6. And I think without this experience that I had had when I was younger, I don't think I would have, been put on a path to be successful or even love education the way I do.
Hmm.
I had a fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Kelly was her name, and she knew it right away. I wasn't the kid who was going to raise my hand for reading. This was back when they would be doing popcorn reading, and you'd have your turn, and
Hmm.
to me would be super stressful because I knew I struggled, and she
Hmm.
knew I struggled too. So she was able to realize that, and had reached out to my parents and wanted to support me in that. And I had that time during the day where I might be pulled for reading intervention and things like that. Now I wasn't on an IEP or 504 or anything like that, but I just needed a little extra support. And she took the time, tutoring twice a week from grades 4, 5, and 6, because she saw that I wanted to do, wanted to work hard, I wanted to do well, and that this was going to help me. And I remember times that it was a struggle for me. I didn't want to show up, I didn't want to do that, and this woman, for 3 years took that time and energy to work with me and build my confidence for grades 4, 5, and 6. So by the time I stepped into middle school, I felt a little bit more confident. Now, there's still things now as an adult that I have to work on. When I read, I need to make sure I highlight. I need to make sure I take time because same thing, my brain's going to go, I'm going to go all over the place. And sometimes as a leader of the campus, I might be working on one thing and then I've got to go do this. I got to go do this. So it really helps me to work on some of those skills that she had taught me, during those younger years and those elementary years that kind of helped me build a solid foundation for who I am and what I can do today, as far as those skills like reading and comprehending. But yeah, it was definitely a struggle for me, and that's why today, it is so important for me to be involved in this process for kids. It's so important that I get our staff trained and doing certain things so that they can help kids that maybe will be struggling with this. And I think the big thing for us right now is, we had a great opportunity for our staff to be enrolled in Lexi Learning and really focus on the science of reading to help kids. So it was a great opportunity to be a part of this, what's called letters training.
Hmm.
Um, and because, like I said, that hit home for me, and I wanted to make sure that our teachers are trained and that we give our students the absolute best, so that they don't struggle and they don't have to feel like that. And that was just me, and I know today it is extremely different too. I mean, I didn't maybe necessarily have the full built up anxiety or feeling like that's it, but I know that's happening. So I want to make sure our staff is properly trained to make sure that they can meet those needs of each and every student that's in the classroom. So yeah, that was definitely a struggle for me, and something I'm always happy sharing and and letting people know that you can overcome it. It's going to take that hard work, and it's going to take people like Mrs. Kelly, helping me out.
I love that, Michael. That's so cool. God bless Mrs. Kelly for helping you, man, and right, helping you build your skills and your confidence. And so when you hit middle school, you were just, comfortable and rocking it, instead of feeling stressed when it came to be your turn. And when you were sharing that, Michael, I totally can relate, man, because I struggled too with that. And every time when we would take turns, right? Person in front of you, you're like, oh, four people in front of me, oh, three people, two, oh, I better read in advance so I don't mess up the words. I would struggle with that big time. So I get that. And if there is a principal listening now to this, or a teacher or a parent, and if or a student, if they're like, that's me, or if a parent saying that's my kid, or if it's a principal or a teacher saying, what is that program? What's the name of it again? And I'll float it in here so they can access that.
Yeah, so our teachers are enrolled in letters right now. That's the program you're talking about.
Letters? Is it just
No,
letters.com?
LETRS.
Lettrs.
Yeah, it's through Lexi Learning. And it's something that the state of Arizona had put on, and I jumped at that opportunity to get our people trained. And it really breaks down those fundamental skills into reading. And we're doing it across grade bands, K through 5. It really does harp on a lot of like K2 stuff. But
Yeah.
I said, you know what? We have kids coming off of COVID and coming off this stuff that missed those primary, K2 years that are now
Yeah,
struggling with grades 3, 4, and 5.
totally.
And we got to fill some of those skills. So I wanted to make sure we got everyone trained. So, we're very fortunate that we've been able to do that this year. Um, and our teachers love it. They love what they're learning and being able to pass it on to their students. And even like you said, some of their kids, some of their kids that they have, kindergarten through second grade students, they could help them as well. So it's really been a great opportunity for us.
Now, if there's someone listening, forgive me for asking, hopefully this is okay. I'm just improvising now. So, if there's anyone that's out there like me or like you, and they just want to kind of like the cliff notes, like what helped Michael? Is it something like using your finger? I'm just brainstorming here, spitballing. Is it using your finger to to go across the words? Is it not moving your head? My brother Brian taught me this, not moving your head because I used to do that. And I guess we're supposed to just use our eyes to scan the letters and maybe using our fingers. So for me with ADD, or definitely as K-5 ADHD, I was all over the place. So I would look and then I was somewhere else. So are there like a tip or two that you can share with our listeners that helped you enhance your reading skills that maybe someone K-5 could be like, oh, I'm going to try that.
Oh yeah, for me specifically, there was things like borders. There was borders set up like I almost needed to be like in a confined space,
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't if I started looking around. Is that so? We have some things that we use for our kids, like we'll put up a border. It's just like a cardboard, almost like a
Oh,
triangle kind
cool.
of thing, and they can insert themselves in almost like a cubby or cubicle. Um,
Yeah. Reducing
now,
external stimuli, right? You're just
yeah,
reducing. Okay. Got
exactly.
it.
So reducing that. And what's nice is we offer that to all students. It doesn't have to be someone who struggles with reading. Some kids just like that quiet space. They don't want to look at, so
Yeah.
it helps with not making students feel like they're singled out
Yep.
by having that.
Mhm.
Um, and then, using paper. For me, this was a big one, is using paper to go line by line. So I would take paper, cover up the line, and then drop
Genius.
it down.
No way. Just here, any kind of paper, and you just put it and pull it down. That's
Pull
even
it
better
down.
than
Yeah.
a finger. You're just,
Exactly, because the finger I could still see everything, but for me, if I
yeah,
cover up what I'm reading and I slowly move it down,
yeah.
uh, that really that really helped me specifically. Yeah.
What, just for the heck of it, what if it had a little line through it? I'm again just brainstorming because I think the pulling line by line, perfect. But then for me, I probably would have got distracted by the ones above it. Is there a way that's a little line that when you pull it down, you can't see above or below? It's just that one line, or is that kind of tricky?
I've seen that.
Oh,
It's
good.
almost been
They
like
have
kind
it.
of like a piece like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I typically, and I had never used it, but I have seen that, absolutely.
Is it, and but the one just regular, just pull it down, work really
Yep.
well for you?
Yes.
So got it, the cubby and then the paper line by line.
Yeah.
Those are two awesome tips. Man, thank you, Michael. That's gonna probably help a lot of people. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it tomorrow when I'm reading. So cool. And then what else? Well, let's see. It was, oh yeah, what's working well at your school for supporting your kids with their mental health? And what do you see that's working? What would you like to see more of? All that stuff.
Yeah. So for us, we are big on responsive classroom. So it is an approach to the classroom. So it's an approach, and it's research and it's evidence based, of teaching and discipline that focuses on engaging with the students
Mhm.
both academically, socially, emotionally, and really helps them develop um, awareness, to their community around them. And it's something that we do every single day. It
Cool.
starts with certain things, like car line, having our staff open the doors,
Hmm.
meeting your teacher at the door, shaking hands, making sure they're making eye contact. And then it starts with creating that safe and joyful environment first thing in the morning,
Mm.
engaging students. And we see that if we're doing that consistently, we're doing that in the morning, we're going to experience success throughout the day, and we're going to continue to hone in and develop those strong social and academic skills. Um, and then for us, it's really big on community. So, we have cares. That's what our big
Hmm.
focus is around responsive classroom. So that's cooperation, assertion, respect and responsibility, empathy, and self control. So those are things that we're going to harp on throughout the week, and then it's celebrated at the end of the week. And you and I were talking, prior to this podcast about whole school meetings. Like this is what we do on our Fridays. We take an opportunity to celebrate kids and also have kids and students be in leadership roles. So every Friday, well, almost every single Friday, we have 40 weeks a year. We hold 38, 37, 38 whole school meetings to celebrate kids showing their cares, giving them leadership opportunities to speak in front of the school. Really great stuff that helps build confidence for them. And then in the day, also having those supports in place, for our staff to be able to communicate with them, to have um, a counselor on campus that they can have availability to. Now, we only had someone that was part-time, but it's still someone that can come in and work with the kids. What I would like to see more of is more of the counseling and small group stuff, being able to work with kids. And that's
Mm,
something we're working on.
awesome.
Um, but but yeah, so really great opportunities to engage them through this responsive classroom model.
Super cool. I love it. Now, is CARE something that you guys came up with, Michael, or is that an outside program that other schools can, tap into, or did you guys dream that up?
So that is something that they had put together. It's like their
Cool.
gold, you went to school, you had like your golden rule or your pillars that you
Mm,
would
right.
you would work off of.
Yeah.
Those are our pillars, and that's what we use throughout the week. We'll for the positive behavior and reinforcement, we'll have what we call as caught you carings.
Hmm.
Um, and it's, they can earn them. And then at the end of the week, along with whole school meeting, they're called spirit sticks. And I think, well, I keep them in here. Oh, there, man. I keep them here. The kids can turn in their Kachu carryings, and then they keep these little spirit sticks. So if they turn in 5, they could get little things, and they put them on their backpack, and the kids go
Oh,
wild for them. And
sweet.
it's just another little positive reinforcement thing that we do with the responsive classroom. And it gives those kids, those incentives to making sure that they're doing the right thing, they're making good choices, and at the same time too, letting the kids know maybe it's okay if we didn't make good choices for the day. It's okay, we all have a rough day, but
Mm,
it's what do we do from here?
mm-hmm.
Can we have a better day? Did we get better today? Are we going to get better tomorrow? So it's all working as one.
That's awesome, Michael. Super cool. I love that. Now, if there's a principal thinking, that's pretty awesome. I want to implement that too. Could they reach out to you and
Oh,
get some
absolutely.
tips on how you're doing it? Because that's kind of a cool, yeah, the care, what do you call it? CARES method, CARES program.
Yeah, cares, and it's just the responsive classroom. And then, like I said, those are our specific ones that we utilize. But I'm always happy to talk to people about it.
Awesome. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of research shows that kids respond much quicker and much more positively to positive reinforcement versus punishment, right? That positive reinforcement they're gonna want that versus the punishment, the punitive approach. So it's so cool that you guys are doing that. You're like way ahead of the curve. That's awesome. Super cool. And I could see how the kids get excited, like, oh, I saw the top dog, whatever that one was. Is it
Oh
an
yeah.
iron on, or do they sew it on their backpack, or what do they do?
So normally we give them like the little like ring here, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just collect them.
Mm.
You'll see some kids, by the time they get to 5th grade, and if they've been here every year with us, they'll have 120. They'll have a lot of them. They really take pride in them, and they'll have competitions. Like, well, I have more. They'll count back and forth. But Friday when the spirit stick cart comes around, the kids are happy.
That's so cool. That's genius. Well, way to go for you guys dreaming that up and implementing that and getting the kids to really be kind. It sounds like it's encouraging kindness and empathy and support and all the stuff that we should be doing. So that's awesome. And what are any whatever's on your heart or any final thoughts, like if you wanted to share something with another principal or maybe it's with staff of other schools, teachers, or with students, just anything, whatever's on your heart. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's at times, I feel like what we do can be thankless
Mm.
at times. We always get a lot of negatives as a principal. Sometimes I operate in like a silo, and our teachers have that. Maybe they have a teacher buddy or teacher friend. But sometimes it's almost like it's a thankless career at times. You know, I don't
Mm,
want to say there are a lot of parents that are appreciative and do that, but it's just letting the teachers and staff and principals know, they're not alone. What they are doing is the right thing, and that to not get discouraged, because I know teachers can have those rough days, but they are doing um, their job and they're doing what they are passionate about, and they are making a difference. On some days though, you might not see it.
mm.
You might not see it. You might not see the end of the tunnel, but you know what? You might be able to see that step in front of you and keep taking those steps because what they are doing is making a difference. Um, and it's just to continue to do that, and that I'm always available. I love networking and communicating and working with teachers, principals, administrators. That we're here for resources. We're here as a resource to everyone, um, because at the end of the day, we want to do what's best for kids. And I'll talk about that with anyone. And taking the opportunity to work with you today, Mike, is something special. And I think that it's a perfect opportunity to let people know that you're doing a great job and to keep it up.
Well, man, thank you, Michael, and you're doing phenomenal. And I love what you said because sometimes we forget about the teachers and the principals, and we're so focused on the kids, which is why we're all here to support kids. But sometimes we need to take care and support ourselves, right? Supporting principals, supporting assistant principals, supporting the teachers, supporting counselors, school psychologists, and the whole staff. That you guys are making a huge difference. One, two, you matter. Three, you have value. You're important. You're in the right place. And yeah, like you said, it gets tough and challenging, and probably lots of thankless days, and lots of things when you're thinking, man, is this even making a difference? I don't see it. Like you were saying, sometimes it takes time, and to just know, yes, teachers, you're making a difference. My mom is a teacher, so I love teachers. So if you're a teacher and you're watching, love you. And um, what you do matters, and it's important. And maybe if the teachers out there listening, like, I'm just burnt out, because I know the last couple of years there was a huge turnover with teachers. So if anyone needs support, it's okay. Do you guys have something like that for your teachers? I guess is like maybe the school counselor or anybody that if they're feeling kind of burnt out, or like, man, is there something there, or what do you usually recommend, I guess?
Yeah, so I think our HR department does a really good job of they try to do things like they'll do like a mindfulness minute,
Hmm.
they'll have like resources for them to reach out. They'll try to keep them in like competitions, hey, exercise or drink water. They'll do these things. I try to schedule personally, one-on-ones, like after our
Mm,
meeting right now, I've got a one-on-one with a staff member of just, checking in, say, hey,
cool.
we're in quarter four, you know what, we're starting to plan for the summer,
Hmm.
what do you need from me? How can I support? And I think those are
Awesome.
important, and it's hard to set aside those times, as a leader, but it's necessary to let the staff know it's like, hey, I'm here as a support. What can we do to help you? So those are important things to do.
Incredible. Michael, thank you so much, my man. That was awesome. I love how you're supporting kids. Love how you took your pain and turned it into a purpose with the struggle, with the reading. That's so God, that's how God works, right? He uses all of our pain and turns it into our purpose, takes our mess, turns it into our message. It's just cool how that works and how God works. So it's awesome to see you so inspired to help so many kids, and you're helping your staff too. So that's no surprise to see that you're the principal. And you said, I got here quicker than I thought, but it's pretty obvious why you're in that leadership position. You're doing great. So yeah, keep up the great work, and thank you again for sharing some time with us, Michael.
Yeah, awesome. No, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
And then we'll